Arena! Hey, Chris in the house with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and I am here to talk about today how to build one of the most amazing turtles I recently got. Yes, I'm talking about Raphael. He was my last addition to the turtle army. I only recently got him through the deck of fate that we had, and by far, he's the turtle that most amazed me. I enjoy a lot his gameplay, I enjoy a lot his kit, and how we're going to build him is a little bit different that we build most of the nukers that he plays. So, in this video, I'm going to discuss how to build him, essentially. Let's start reading his kit. Raphael is basically a nuker. He's a nuker legendary champion attack from the barbarian faction. And everything on his kit is based on raw damage. He's basically a raw damage champion. And differently from the other how to build videos that I did, I started reading the kit always by day 1 until the passive. I'm going to do the other way around. First, he has an attack aura in all battles by 30%. Increases his and all the allies attack in all battles by 30%, which is interesting. On the passive, New York City Beatdown. Whenever Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, or Raphael attacks, this champion will join the attack. All the turtles have this first part of the passive in common, and this is really important because it's this mechanic that makes all the turtles worth it. It's this line here, this mechanic, that makes everything possible, and for Raphael is the most important part. Second part, places a berserk debuff on this champion for 1 turn when enemy champion dies. This is very important. The berserk makes you take more damage, but at the same time makes you do more damage. If you don't remember what berserk does, the berserk increases the damage inflicted and the damage received by 50%. This is very, very, very high. So, the berserk that he puts on himself is the key to make his damage go very high. And the last part of the passive has a 20% of chance of gaining an extra turn when attacking under berserk debuff placed by this champion. Amazing. Amazing. This is a good passive. Not extremely powerful. The first part is extremely powerful, but the other 2 parts are normal but decent. Let's go to the other parts of the kit. A3. Not today, knucklehead. 3 turns cooldown when fully booked. And this is the hardest hitting skill on the kit. This is the skill that hits the hardest. Attack one enemy 3 times. Each hit ignores 20% of the target's defense. So it's a very, 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 very strong skill. And places a perfect veil buff and an unkiller buff on this champion for 2 turns if the target is killed. If the target survives, places a berserk debuff on this champion for 2 turns instead. This debuff cannot be resisted or blocked. Okay, this is interesting, very interesting, because this is the hard hitting skill, and this skill hits like a truck. This is one of the few skills that I saw deleting Galatir full life in the first turn of the battle, having his passive. What that means? That you can attack Galatir, he will mitigate the damage, reduce the damage, his HP is going to be to 0, then he's going to have full HP again, and then you're going to delete his HP again. This is how good this skill is. It's one of the few skills in the game that I saw deleting a Galatir from the game, and I'm talking about a +4 6-star Galatir. And that's how capable of doing damage this skill is. Not today, knucklehead. A3 of Raphael. A2. Seismic Slam. 3 turns cooldown and fully booked. Attack all enemies. This is the AoE of the kit. Will ignore shield and block damage buffs if attacking under a berserk debuff placed by this champion. This is very important. If Odin uses the E1 on him and places a berserk on him, it won't trigger this part of the effect, okay? So pay attention on that. And he only ignores shields and block damage if he's under the berserk. If the champion is not under berserk debuff placed by themselves, the damage inflicted against enemies under shield buffs increases by 50%. Each critical hit fills this champion meter by 10%. Okay, about this skill, this is a very situational AoE skill. Usually we don't use it unless we have the situation that our enemies are on the block damage and we have the berserk, because this skill is the go-to when that situation happens. And this is really good on the meta because we have Nyanhe, we have Nice, we have Siegfried, we have Odin, we have Marichka, all these top tier meta champions that plays around the block damage mechanics. So this is the skill that counters the meta from his kit. But the most impactful thing on his kit is not the passive, it's not the A3, it's not the A2, it is the A1. Yes. Sweeper Skewer. A1. Attack one enemy 2 times. Places a block revive debuff if the target is killed. Each critical hit fills the champion meter by 10%. Very normal description of skill, but very impactful. Why? Why it's very impactful? Because all the things that you can do with her is a double hit skill, so good, and block revive if the target's killed. This is a very hard hitting A1. Very hard hitting A1. It's capable of doing insane amount of damage, like 100k, 150k, sometimes 200k with an A1, which is incredibly powerful. You can delete champions just using the A1. And what is that all the turtles bring when any other of the turtles do damage? They bring the allied turtles to do their A1s. So that's the mechanic around the Raphael. You use the other turtles, Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, just to proc Raphael's A1 in the right moment to delete the right champion and take it totally out of the battle. This is the strategy around Raphael most of the time. And this is how this champion is good. And he's very playable because of that. Let's build him. And this is the first part of how to build him, because it's very intriguing how we're going to build him, because we want to play around his passive of the Berserk. Let's go through it. Let's start with the Masteries. I'm going to build him as a standard nuker mastery. So I'm going to start with extra critical rate, extra critical damage. I want to go through shields, so I'm going to shield breaker. I am going for single out. I am going for bring it down. I am definitely going for methodical, most important thing, and helm smasher. This is the first part of the masters that we're going to do. Traditional nuker masteries, okay? The second part, I'm going here to a little bit more of defense. A little bit more. Let me go with blast proof. Let me go with resurgent. Then I will go with delay death and the 2 counterattacks. Since I said his A1 so impactful, the counterattacks are very, very good skills to have. And that make us have a few points left. So we can use. I am going here to put Ruffler's ambush because we want to delete champions and the first time we hit them. And I'm also going to put Wrath of the Slain on him, because sometimes our allies are dead and we take advantage of it. Another option, if you wanted, it was to use Stoked Fury, because he's going to put Berserk on himself and is going to give us 4% more damage. But it is an option, okay? You take away the Terrans and you bring here, instead of Wrath of the Slain, you bring Cycle of Violence and Stoked Fury. That is another option. But this is the traditional build that I'm going to do for his Mastery. Second thing that we're going to do, Blessing. I recently got a 5-star for him. What I think are the best blessings for Raphael to use. The first one and most impactful one, I think it is Lightning Cage. Why Lightning Cage? Any amount of stars that you have, Lightning Cage is good because you're able to take the unkillable he put on himself and make it stay there. And this is really important to make him alive because he does not have mechanics to survive. So this is going to be the mechanic to survive. If he's able to use his A3 and put the unkillable on himself, he's going to be there for 2 turns, being dangerous to the enemy team because of his A1. And that's what we want to keep, the unkillable on ourselves. That's why we're using Lightning Cage. And Lightning Cage also going to help us to keep the buffs that we might have. If we build him with Stone Skin, we want to keep that Stone Skin and things like that. So for almost every situation, Lightning Cage is the best option. It doesn't matter how many stars you have. Okay? Another viable option would be maybe Crushing Hand if you have a 6-star. Okay? But I still prefer Lightning Cage by a far amount. Relics. What relics are the best to use on him? I would say that the best relic to use on him, it is by far the Cat's Gaze, and is actually the one that I'm using on him. I'm going to put one of my Cat's Gaze. I don't have many, so I have to be very selective which champions are going to have my Cat's Gaze. And I choose Raphael to be the holder of one of my Cat's Gaze. That's how important I think he is. And I'm going to use on him gemstones to give him more damage. Okay, so I'm using these gemstones on him. More damage on multi-hits, because his A1 is a multi-hit and his A3 is a multi-hit. Okay, destroy max HP with damage here, and every time he kills someone, he does more damage. Which is interesting, because usually he's a champion that kills one champion, kills another champion, kills another champion. That's good for him. So the Cat's Gaze, I think, is the best option. If you don't have the Cat's Gaze, what should you play with? Options if you don't have the Cat's Gaze. Second best option, Wand of Submission. Like in general, this is a very powerful relic. He's going to be easy target to debuffs because his kit does not protect him. Neither does the other turtles. So having Wand of Submission is the second best option. And probably for most of the players, the most viable option. Okay? So Wand of Submission, second best option after the Cat's Gaze. Other option for him that is viable, it is Covetous Passion. Okay, it's going to give everything that he wants: more damage, more critical damage, and more ignore defense. So everything that he wants, it is really good to have on him. Another viable option, it is Less Loth here, because you have the chance of staying alive, and maybe you are able to do something, maybe kill someone, maybe bring your HP back, maybe put the unkillable on yourself and not dying. So it gives attacks to him, that is the source of his damage, and might make him stay alive, which is good for nuker that has no defensive things. Another thing that would be insanely good, but I don't think nobody has it, it is the Dread Bomb. This is the perfect relic. I will not even list it, because I don't think nobody has access to it yet. Another option here is Essence Quencher, that gives you damage. And the Perseid Shadow is another viable option, because you want to take advantage of your A1. So this is a relic that is, if you don't have any of the others, you can use on him, the Perseid Shadow. So basically, these are the relics that I think are useful for him. Being the Cat's Gaze, the best achievable one. And the Wand of Submission, the second best option. And the others that I said as side options, okay? And that brings us to the last part and most important part. Which sets we are going to use on him? Well, this is a hard choice, because as I said, most of the part of his damage we are going to take from the A1 while under Berserk. So it's important to us to have Berserk on us. So usually nukers that doesn't have survivability mechanics, and he's a nuker without a survivability mechanic, we have to use a stone skin, otherwise they are going to be killed without playing. And that's the scenario here. But if you put stone skin on him, what the stone skin will deny? He will deny the berserk on Raphael. So you're not going to be able to put the berserk if someone dies, or if you kill someone with your A3, you're not going to be able to land the berserk on yourself. So you're going to miss a lot of damage. And that's something really, really, really bad, because if we don't have a nuker with survivability mechanic, and we cannot put stone skin on him, how are we going to play with him? Well, let's present you options. The first, and I think it is the most viable option, but it's a viable option if you have the Cat's Gaze or the Covetous Passion equipped on your champion. Okay? It is to have Raphael in 4 turns of Swift Parry set and side pieces that help him to have damage. Best options to be the side pieces. 4 pieces of Swift Parry and 2 pieces of retaliation, 2 pieces of revenge, 2 pieces of cruel, 3 pieces of reaction, 2 pieces of cruel, and 2 pieces of revenge, 1 piece of reaction. Viable options. 4 pieces of Swift Parry and 4 pieces of Supersonic. Another viable option. These are side builds and side pieces that I think are interesting to have on Leo, that will on Raph, that I think are usable and suit his kit without taking all the damage from him and keeping him with all the possibilities that he has, the survivability a little bit, the damage a little bit, everything that's going to make him useful. And that's actually the build that I'm going to use on him. Swift Parry plus something that I gonna search to see what's the best for my Raphael. We're going to do that together in the video later. All the builds for him. The best and more powerful to do damage, it is 9 pieces of Merciless. This champion is a devastation when using this build. 4 pieces of Merciless. This is crazy, 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 crazy strong. Another viable option. 6 pieces of Merciless, 3 pieces of Reaction. This is, in my opinion, best build for him. 6 pieces of Merciless, 3 pieces of Reaction. That gives a little bit of survivability and a lot of damage to this champion. This is very, very, very viable, and the most of the players should use. And the third option, it is 4 pieces of Savage or Lethal and 4 pieces of Stone Skin. You're going to delay your ability of getting Berserk on yourself and destroy everybody, but you're going to be a lot safer. A lot safer. So this is still a viable option for him. It is not the one that I'm going to play, but might be suitable for your gaming style. So these are the 3 options of builds that I present for Raphael. I'm going to use the first one that I presented. I think the second one is the strongest one. And we have the third one as more traditional one. And what do you seek on the stats from him? Well, we're gonna look at it on the Hell Hades Artifact Optimizer right now. Let's go to it. Okay, we are here on the Hell Hades Artifact Optimizer. So let's go to your champions. Let's select Raphael. And we're going here to optimize. We're going to select damage mode on this first screen. On presets, you're not going to put nothing. On configure, you're going to drag this bar to 0. If you want to use your best gear on him, you're going to include artifacts on locked champions. I am going to do that for Raphael. The Masteries are the ones that we already built, so you just need to put it there. On battle here, I'm going to set up the target defense to 7k and the target HP to 200k. Okay. On stats, here is the first thing that you need to select. There is only one stat that you're going to fulfill here. It is the speed. The speed that you're going to use on here depends on the level of your gear, the level of your empowerment, the level of your blessing. Okay, so I would advise you to not go lower than 250. Okay, because I think this is the minimum for a nuker nowadays. Even more a nuker like him that doesn't have that much survivability mechanic. On mine, I will try to go 300 speed, which is going to be a little bit of a hard thing to do because I don't have a 6-star on him, but it is what it is. Let's try. On slots, what do we want? First, we're gonna mark this option here to have marked artifact and accessory ascension bonus. And then on the top pieces, weapon, helmet, and shield, we're going to select attack as ascension. On the gloves, we're going to unlock everything here and just check critical damage as main stats and critical damage or attack as ascension. On the chest, only attack percentage as main stats and only attack percentage as ascension. On the boots, only speed or attack percentage as main stat and only speed or attack percentage as ascension. On the bottom pieces, here you need to take a little bit of care, because if you're trying to build him with special sets like reaction, merciless, supersonic, and things like that, you're going to check what kind of pieces you're having. Revenge, so it doesn't, you cannot select only attack main stats if you don't have any stone skin attack, ring, supersonic, or revenge, or reaction. If you don't have it, you cannot be so restrictive. So the only thing that I advise you to do here, it is keep the way it is. Just on the amulet, select critical damage. This is the only thing that I suggest you to do. And on the essentials, you're going to put attack on the ascension of the ring, critical damage as ascension of the amulet, and attack as the ascension of the banner. This is what I suggest you to do for a general purpose of making your build if you're using special sets. Then I'm going to glyphs here, okay? Because what we want from glyphs on him, what's important? Speed, the highest that you can. Okay. Attack, flat, the highest that you can. And attack percentage, the highest that you can. This is what matters for him, glyphs-wise. And finally, the set. We have all the options that I told you in the previous session of the video. So, what I think it is the strongest build for him, I won't lie, it is reaction, 3 pieces, and merciless, 6 pieces. This is what I think it is the best build for him at the moment. I don't have this build. I don't have a single good reaction piece for him, neither good merciless pieces for him. So this is something I cannot do on my account, sadly. But this is the best build for him, okay? In my opinion. The second best build for him, it is Swift Parry, and side sets. Options to use the side sets: Cruel, 1 set, and Reaction, 3 sets. This is amazing. It can be Revenge here. Three pieces or lower amount of pieces, like 2, for example, and you can add another reaction. This is also a very viable setup for him. Another option that you can have, it is 4 pieces of Swift Parry and Supersonic 4 pieces to try to give him a turn in the beginning. This is another viable option. Okay. Another option that we can have, it is the traditional. That is the third best build for him, in my opinion. That is 4 pieces of Savage and 4 pieces of Stone Skin. This build is going to delay a lot to extract the best from him, because he's not going to have the Berserk very soon in the fight. Okay, but is the safest build that we have. Okay, so while you're going to make your choices, that's up to you based on the gear that you have and the options that you have on your account. On my account, I already know that I don't have very good Merciless and reaction for him, so I'm going to use Swift Parry as my first option here. I'm going to use Cruel as my second option here, and I'm going to add 1 reaction accessory to him, because I know I have 1 good reaction piece for him, the critical damage amulet. And that's it. That's how I'm going to do my rough build. I hope that I explained it well for you to select the best one for yours. Let's see what I can do here. Just come to the button here and click on Optimize. Start. Let's wait. So I got my results here. I'm going to click on View, and I'm going to click Equip on Game, and let's go to the game. Okay, this is the build that we selected to the Raphael. Now we have to minimax it. Okay, it is Swift Parry, Cruel, and 1 piece of reaction, because it's everything that I have at my disposal. Let's go to minimax it, but as I said, I made my research on my account and I came out with 3 viable builds for him. The first one is with Swift Parry and Retaliation, which is really good for him. The second one is Swift Parry and Full Speed. And the third one is the one that you're seeing, Swift Parry and Cruel. I'm going to minimax the Swift Parry and Cruel one. So let's go to it. And now I'm going to minimax it. Let's go. Here, I need first to bring attack as Ascension. Okay. I'm going to give him a little bit more power with Glyph on attack here. Can I get a little bit more speed? 2 attempts only. 3. Okay, we gave the 5. And that's everything we can do on the weapon. On the helmet, let's go here. Attack. And we can... 1 Glyph. Another one. The third one. Okay, we give a 7%. 3 attempts on the speed here. First. And it's gone. Okay, 1 attempt here on HP. No, okay. Let's stay this way. On the shield here, let's bring attack as Ascension. We got it. Defense percentage. Not our goal, but can help a little bit us to keep alive. And speed, 3 attempts on the 5. 1. Okay, the 4 are gonna take it. Here on the gloves, I can let it the attack percentage. This is a very poor glove, but might be the only one that I have to reach the amount of stats that I need. So let me go 4 attempts here on the 5. 1, 2, perfect. A little bit of HP. Perfect. Another bit of HP here. And a bit of flat defense. Here I can let the attack percentage or go for the critical damage. Let me have a few attempts here to see if I get critical damage. If it goes back to attack percentage, I will let it. Critical damage. Okay, perfect. On the chest, attack percentage, everything's already minimaxed. It is what it is. It's not the best chest, but I need the speed, and this is the only one that is giving me the speed until I get the 6-star. And on the boots here, I need to bring that. Oh, it went to attack percentage boot. Interesting. Interesting. I put 300 speed and didn't went to a different option. I thought it was going to speed boot. Okay. Interesting choices. Let's bring speed here or attack percentage. Speed on the first one. Perfect. So let's have speed here. And let's give me a 5. 3 attempts. Okay. A little bit of flat HP. That's it on the boots. We now have 298 speed. Good. Oh, this is the banner. Gosh. Let's bring attack here. Perfect. We got attack. This is the quadro. A very high glyph red. So let me put a very high glyph here too. 5. Let me bring the 9. Okay, let me bring the 8. 7. I'm gonna take it. Defense. And a little bit more defense. Okay. Okay, on the amulet we have a critical damage one. Let's seek for critical damage as Ascension. We got it. Let's max it. Resistance doesn't matter. HP, let's put a little bit. Flat HP. Accuracy doesn't matter. And attack, let's put a big one. Okay, max. Perfect. And on the ring. Oh, this is a quadro. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's go for attack here. And we already got attack. So let's give us a little bit of flat HP. 4%, a little bit of flat defense. And a little bit of defense percentage. The 4%. Let's take it. This is our total stats. 8.3k attack, 53k HP, 3k defense, 298 speed is a little bit low. I wanted 300 plus. 362 critical damage. And the resistance and accuracy doesn't matter. On Swift Parry and Cruel. These are the stats that I'm going to use on my Raph. And to make this video complete, 2 things. First, Raphael position when you're selecting your turtles is really important. My turtles are not a build, but when you're selecting your turtles, the position that you're going to put the champions is really important. So, Donnie is good to be always on the last position because he's going to be the last one to receive damage, and he's going to be able to proc his passive in the others before he's received damage. His passive is the most important thing about Donnie, because it keeps our champions alive. Leo needs to be the headliner, okay? Why? Because he can have the Stone Skin passive, but this passive won't mitigate damage. So if he dies from a single hit, he won't be kept alive by the Stone Skin, okay? He's going to put the Stone Skin already dead, and the dead he will be. So we want him to be the first champion here, because the passive of Donatello, when we are being damaged, will proc by AoEs, will proc first on a Leo, and will save Leo. By saving Leo, he's have the chance of proccing his passive, okay? The AoE on the E3, which is insanely good. So that's why we want always Donatello on the last position, and always Leo on the first position. And that's bring us to the other two. Raph is always on Leo's side. He's always the secondary turtle. And that's really important, okay? We're going to have Mikey as the last option here on the third position. This is really important because when you use any skill that does damage with any turtles, all the turtles are going to play, okay? So the first turtle that is going to play is the turtle that uses the skill. For example, if Leonardo uses an A1, he goes first, then Raphael's goes second, then Michelangelo's go third, and Donatello's go fourth. If Donatello uses an A1 here on someone, Donatello's go first, Leonardo goes second, and Raphael goes third. Mikey goes fourth. Okay, and that's the sequence for any turtle that you use. If Michelangelo is the one to use an A1, for example, he's going to use an A1. Leonardo is going to be the second, Raphael the third, Donatello the fourth. Okay, and that's it. Having Raph on the second position, it is really important because you use his passive. You use the passive to save a Leo most of the time, so Leo can proc his passive. Raphael will receive the damage. If he procs the Swift Parry, you're going to proc the passive of the Leo, which is awesome. This is the strategy, okay? And on the second position, you use the Leo damage first to take a little bit of the champion HP, because Leonardo's A1 doesn't hit that much. But Raphael comes second, and his A1 hit like a truck. And you want the champions to be killed by Raphael's A1, not any other's A1, because Raphael's A1 is the one that blocks revive. So being on the second position is strategically the best position to them. This is the setup for the Turtles team, because you extract the most of all your Turtles, positioning them this way. This is the right setup to position them. If you position them in a different order, it might be impactful to the result, the outcome of the battle. Have that in mind. This is very important knowledge for you if you're using the Turtles. And let's finally see a little bit of usage of Raphael in the arena. Let's go. Won't be joining us. Okay. What should I do here?
Oh, and good luck with your buddy in the Mercedes.
Let me go on him. With that, I'm going Ha. And Rapid safe by the moment. Oh, he tried to remove my Stone Skins. Boom. Not going to kill me that easy. And you're going to pay the price. You're going to pay the price. Look at this damage. Look at this damage. And now, let me bring you my turtles. Raph.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Raph does the job. Exactly, it's the Aptoide. We have a video on the channel teaching how to use it. Okay, let me do that. That's the first move. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, James. He's one of the strongest ones. Bro. Okay, Nyan is down. I don't have more passives. Let's go, Raph. Block revive. Block revive, bro. Block revive.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Block revive? No. But what are you going to do? You took my turtle. I took your nuker. I took your nuker. Block revive. Just have one thing to say.
Flawless victory.
We're gonna have Raphael against them all. It's going to be faster. It's a great country to visit. Okay, we're feared. Okay. We have not procced the passive because of the fear. Okay, take the passive. Boom. Block revive on her. Now let me block revive on her. Oh no. He's going to rest. Not a problem. Oh gosh. Passive, 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 passive. Something I need to say. On. People are fanning our Leo. He's going to accelerate him. Take our stones and try to kill us with the knives. We're going to accelerate him, look. Take our stones and try to kill us with knives. We don't know yet, Sneed. Oh no, he's going to try to nuke. Okay. It won't work. Oh my gosh, almost block revived. Almost block revived, look. Let me go here. Let me go here. He revived. But I have unkillable here. Oh no, attack down. So let me try that. Oh look, he swaps form. Block revive, baby. And now block revive here. Block revive, baby. And now block revive here. Block revive, baby. I have something to say.
First blood.
Double kill.
Oh, baby, a triple.
Triple Q, 3 A1s. GG. I hope that you enjoyed the video, that this video helps you to have a little bit more knowledge about your turtles if you have them. And if you're facing them, that's really important too. This is how I built my Raphael and how I advise you to build yours. There are many possible builds to him. He's a very different nuker and we want to extract the most about his kit and his combo with the other turtles. That's it, brothers. Hope you enjoy. If you like this kind of content, do not forget to do that. Yeah! And as always, remember, it's all about arena.